in 2020 when COVID hit, it was expected to have, a big impact, not only in the startup sector, but obviously, as we've seen, kind of worldwide across all industries. I think one element that startups were quite protected from was the fact that a lot of the investors that invest in early stage startups had already raised their funds. The majority of funds out there operate on a 10-year cycle, so they've got 3 to 4 years to deploy their first checks and then more to follow on. So we saw a lot of these funds already having their funds ready to deploy. So actually the wider scene for early stage investment wasn't impacted too much. But there were a couple of areas that were quite impacted. I think the first one was very much at the kind of early stage. The pre-seed stages was impacted quite a bit by this, because that is normally fueled by angels. And the angels got a bit, panicky, as you can imagine. They weren't sure where to put their investment. They were slightly worried. So we found that if you're raising pre-seed, first of all, your valuations took a knock, and secondly, it was harder to find investment for that. We also saw that first-time founders were struggling as well, because it was harder to show that confidence from an investor's point of view that you can, grow the company and hit your objectives. And also another thing we found that has become, apparent now is more of a focus on traction. Before it was looking more at the vision of the company. Now it's more about, okay, we understand your vision, but I also want to see your current metrics, what you're achieving to date with regards to customers and sales you're making, because I can't just have confidence that you're going to get these. You need to show it now. I think pre-seed and to some extent seed took a bit of a knock, but mainly at pre-seed. It's hard to see that recovering to where it was kind of in before 2020 hit. Just because of the fact that obviously the angels are the ones that kind of control that lower stage valuation, and because they still don't have that full level of confidence, there's not that huge bounce back yet. It's uncertain as to whether the valuations will go back to then. But certainly from Series A and Series B, I don't see anything changing. I can only see kind of valuations getting stronger with more and more funds launched, targeting that area and that investment area. One that has been very much talked about coming up to this year is deep tech. I think we're seeing a lot more investment funds target deep technologies coming out of universities, building these businesses which aren't just based off of customer demand, but also scientific risk. They're using research and believing that this can impact industries so much better than the existing solutions that you're willing to take more of a risk on the technology itself as well. Particularly in deep tech, I can see the valuations are going to go up quite drastically.